I learned at a very young age to feel ashamed of who I was. Like, I remember sitting there waiting for the bus stop, 5-year-old kid, and people would throw beer bottles, say, hey, go home, you Hindu. I mean, it was a tremendously racist society. For a lot of us, young people of color at that time, gang membership, gang involvement was a way to assert ourselves in the face of everyday, constant sort of, a constant process, not only of systemic racism, where in the school system, where our role as people of color in constructing this country is completely eliminated, but very overt racism every single day. And I was very, very conscious of that when I became involved in the gangs. That nobody is gonna me anymore. The next time somebody calls me a Hindu, they're gonna get it.
Kids fight with each other now. Brown kids fight with brown kids, and not as much as white kids anymore. But that's probably because we had a hard life. Like, people used to just come and break your windows or make fun of you and stuff, and we always had to fight, so. Kids don't fight alone anymore. A bunch of kids just get together and they fight together. They fight together. It's like they know that one day that they're gonna need help, so that if they help this guy out one day, he'll come help him out the next day. It kind of sends out a message that it won't be a one-on-one. Like, I'll bring 50 people, and who are you gonna bring?
One of my friends just fought for me yesterday. I was supposed to fight some kid, but he brought his friend to fight for him. And then his friend was way bigger than me, so my friend fought that kid for me.
And where was that fight?
Harvey's Market.
At lunchtime?
Yeah.
So were there a lot of people watching?
I would say the majority of people, without a doubt, would not want to be in a situation like that. But when two people get in a situation like that and you have 50 people around them wanting a fight, they're going to get into a situation that they do not want to be in. They're basically being kind of egged on by these other people to do something that they don't want to. So one of the policies we have is, even if you're there spectating, you are definitely part of the problem.
They fight over like girlfriends and like just schools and stupid things like that. Like things that
sometimes,
they don't need to fight over.
Sometimes arguments will build up to the point where you don't even remember why you're fighting. Like,
when's it gonna stop? Yeah, like I've asked a couple people too, like Bunam was saying before, like I've asked people, why do you guys fight? And they say, I don't remember anymore. So obviously if it's not even worth remembering, then why fight?
You were always constantly meeting people that were, many of them were older, a number of them had spent years in youth detention center already. I mean, pretty hardened kids. So all of a sudden, you're hanging out with these kids and sort of, you start acting like them, and there's a certain sort of level at which they're at. I don't know. It just sort of happened, I guess. One day they're like, okay, well, let's go rip off this car. Okay, hey man, next thing you know, somebody's got a gun in the car, right? I mean, you're like, wow, let me check out that gun. Next time, you're like, well, I'm gonna go out and get a gun now, right? So you go out and get a gun too, right? Okay, well, and I remember one day we were broke, and I just said to my friend, I was like, well, these other guys rob stores. Let's just go rob the store now. We just walked into the store, the first time we ever did it. Never did an armed robbery before, just walked in. Give us your money. And then from there, I got to like drug dealing. And then you'd always constantly get like, these new avenues, new windows that open up. The next thing we'd sit down and do is like, okay, so who can we do? Like, we're not gonna do it, right? We're just gonna facilitate it. So that's what it moved into, is like not us necessarily doing anything, right? For us, it became a point of like, I'm not even gonna touch that friggin', that shit. Let's find somebody else that'll do it. Well, I know this kid, he really wants to prove himself, right? And this and that. He's a smart kid, seems to get it, right? He keeps his mouth shut. We trust him. We give him a gun. Can we get him to do this? And in return, we'll give him 25%, right? Or 20%, right? And we'll take the other 80, right? We're cutting him a break.
Tevye, I think he's vulnerable, and if he doesn't have the same support at home right now, he might be looking for that support elsewhere. He probably would be easily led to do something that he probably doesn't want to do.
I know go and stuff when I get kicked out of the house. I know like what to do, how to make money and stuff. That's it.
Every time there's a cop on the street, my mom always gets scared, thinking that I did something, or you know they're coming to get me, or if she hears sirens, she always gets scared, thinking that, you know, what if that's like, you know, my kid that's involved, or she's always worrying. I really haven't told you anything about the story or what happened or what I've been through.
Can you tell us a bit about what happened, what you went through? Just a little bit? So
No.
Worried about your family because people are after you?
I wouldn't say people are after me, but like everyone has enemies. I don't know. I wouldn't want anything to happen while they were there. I'm not scared of, I don't know, I'm not scared of anyone or anything except, you know, I just want my family to be safe.
In Vancouver. So for 10 years, I dealt with all the little up-and-coming gang members from all over the Lower Mainland, every ethnicity you could imagine. And basically, we put this together because we were sick of needless death.
We went to over 70 or so funerals. We've sort of stopped counting it. You know, we were tired of
Teenagers, you know, they just kind of get hooked on this thing about this gangster kind of lifestyle, the way it's glorified on TV. And that line between TV and reality just becomes blurred. And that's why I think things like what Adam and Doug are doing are great, because that helps to kind of fine-tune that blurry line for them and stuff. They really get to see what the other side's like, because they don't get that, right? They're not showing the crime scenes and stuff to them in the rap videos and stuff like that, right? So I brought them over here to our school, and I brought also some other kids in my school who are not gangsters, but sometimes if you kind of see some kind of traits that could maybe lead to these kids potentially going that route, I kind of picked these kids to go watch it.
Some of you guys might remember Bindi Johal. Most of you guys probably have heard of him. And just a clip to show you how cocky he was.
Just want these guys to know you got another thing coming, bitch. I'm still around.
He wasn't around long. Bindi Johal's fast life came to a fast end. Shot to death at this nightclub.
We got it every day, man. Hindu, Paki, this and that. And that's, you know, the mix that Bindi came out of. And the thing is this, is that he used his name Bindi and he used it unapologetically. He sat down and he says, my name is Bindi. You can't get more Punjabi than that, man. Bindi Johal. And he became a legend. Larger than life. And, you know, I remember my mom even, she was just like, oh, that's disgusting what he's doing, scumbag gangster. But at least white folks ain't gonna with us anymore.
These guns are all replicas, right? Took this off. Grade 6 and 7 students at an elementary school in Vancouver. If I pull up to a school ground, I hear there's a shooting, a kid's got a gun and stuff, and he points something like this at me, unfortunately, I'm gonna shoot him. I won't feel good about it, but I'll go home to my kids at the end of the day, right? I'm not gonna negotiate, oh, is that a real gun or not? Right? Because you can die that fast.
This is Mike Barrar. This is what's going to happen to you if you decide to make this choice of this lifestyle.
I didn't know this was in the clip. Mike, the picture they got there, was a friend of mine growing up. Mike played on my hockey team. This was at a reception. He ran across the field and he was shot down. You watch this stuff and you think that, you know, it only happens in LA or it happens somewhere else. It can happen to people that you know.
That gun ballistically is the same gun that shot up this Vietnamese drug dealer's house 3 months before at 54th and Night. So basically, Mike shoots at them, they track him down at this wedding, they shoot him.
Oh, really? Thanks.
I know last time I didn't get shot.
No worries. Thanks, buddy.